Took a long time to get here. Go ahead, punch it in. Whoa.
Welcome to the bunker.
Well, that'll tie into what we can do today, which I'm calling the razor's edge. Don't blink.
Are we there? That place and moment in time? Have we crossed the threshold of the point of no return? I awoke this morning, arose and stepped to the window of my bedroom. The sun was just starting to peek through the canopy. Normally beautiful, hopeful, peaceful, not so much now. Something is off. Something is sideways, maybe even upside down. My thoughts expanded within the confines of my brain as I sipped my morning coffee. Society, social construct, division with a purpose. What has happened collides with what will happen, and that is as confusing to me as it is terrifying. Is that their modus operandi? Is confusion and fear the basis of their strategy? By rearranging the latticework of our complex social structure, have they halted forward progress? We gather, we debate, we vote. But it seems futile. It doesn't matter what we debate about. It's as if something evil has invaded our great nation, and our lives are never going to be the same. Hostile family and hostile friends, co-workers and partners at each other's throats. People that I've known for years arguing with me with such hate about issues that aren't their own and don't believe to be true, only to appease and pacify those who themselves are controlled from afar. It confuses me at every turn and every crossroad. I am perplexed to the point of being static. Powerful, evil individuals have weaponized these weak-minded, radicalized, unstable, and violent far-left individuals into a formidable virus that has diseased our country from coast to coast. From the burning streets of Democratic-run cities to our schools and communities, to our churches and courthouses, and all the way up to the Capitol itself, where they debate ridiculous notions like, when a biological man pretends to be a woman, we should be required to pretend right along with him. They debate whether it's un-American for the Census Bureau to count how many Americans are in America when that is the exact function of that government office. They claim that it is bad that the Russian government influences our elections, but they push to allow non-American illegal immigrants to vote in those same elections. Former President Joe Biden allegedly blackmailed the president of Ukraine, then tried to impeach sitting President Donald Trump for simply inquiring about it. Age 20 is too young to buy and consume a beer, but age 18 is old enough to go and vote. People who have never been slaves should get paid reparations from people who have never owned slaves. Young people attend college and get a degree, then don't have to pay for that degree, while honest, hardworking Americans are forced to pay for it. Immigrants who are sick with tuberculosis and polio are welcome to enter the U.S., but you, as an American, better be able to prove your dog is vaccinated. Irish doctors and German engineers who want to immigrate to the U.S. must go through a rigorous vetting process, but any illiterate gangbangers who jump the southern fence are welcome. $5 billion for border security is too expensive, but $1.5 trillion for free health care is not. If you cheat to get into college, you go to prison, but if you cheat to get into the country, you go to college for free. People who say there is no such thing as gender are demanding a female president. We see other countries going socialist and collapsing, but it seems like a great plan for the US. Criminals are caught and released only to turn around and commit more crimes. But stopping them by force is bad because it's a violation of their rights. Pointing out the hypocrisy of the radical left somehow makes us racists. Nothing makes sense anymore. No values, no morals, no civility. People were dying of a Chinese virus, but it's racist to refer to it as Chinese even though it began in China. We are clearly living in an upside-down world where right is wrong and wrong is right, where moral is immoral and immoral is moral, where good is evil and evil is good, where killing murderers is wrong, but killing innocent babies is right. Wake up, people. This great unsinkable ship we call the United States of America is taking on water and is sinking fast. The slow trickle of your hard-earned resources into the socialist purse will begin soon. The United States and her citizens, all her citizens, are protected by the Constitution. The freedoms that we enjoy, the pursuit of happiness, the endless possibilities that we more than often take for granted, will be stripped away by radical left socialist ideologies. It will happen without even realizing that it happened. If we are truly crossing the point of no return, maybe it's time to take stock of you and yours. Hunker down and shelter in place. Prepare for a long, uncomfortable standoff between all that is uniquely American and the red right hand of the devil himself. We're teetering on a razor's edge. Don't blink.
Well, I've said for the last few years that, the crazier the conspiracy theory sounds, the more true I think it is. And, tinfoil hat anymore. I guess I wear it all day long. We're living in this world. It's upside down.
Well, and the thing is, I have always been heavily concerned about the far left radical crazies. I'm a Republican, never worried about Democrats. And even as in my youth, where I was much more Democratic than Republican, I still wasn't over there. But there's a whole nother faction of weirdness and strength and like terrifying people that are on the very far left, the radical side. And they were just, they were just stupid, blue, red hair, and all that kind of stuff, and acting a fool out in the streets. And then they got dangerous and they started burning stuff and causing fights and this and that. And then the powers that be started to control them and put money into it and fund them. And now they're actually a force to be reckoned with, and they're spreading that disease to other young people.
Well,
that bothers me. But what worries me even more is that they might be voting for the socialist agenda that's coming, and that is bad.
Well, I cheered along the Mondani thing for New York because I was like, oh, this is great. Because the spotlight's on New York City. It's always been on New York City. So they elected, the five boroughs there elected a communist,
Yeah, exactly.
a white Muslim from, what is he, from Uganda or from Africa, who's from a millionaire family, who's never worked in his life. He's always done kind of the same thing as Obama, and I think he was groomed for it. And how that radical left, how they pick their people is they interview them. They go out and find them. They find somebody who fits the mold. They're not people who are suited for leading. They're not leaders. They're actors. This guy was a rapper before he came on the scene in New York. He was a rapper and a SoundCloud rapper, I think it was. Go back and do your research on it. Fact check me. He wasn't into politics. I think he ran for a borough because they asked him to do it. So he was a elected borough person or something. Same thing with AOC. The backstory I got behind her that I actually believe is she went to what was advertised as a part for, because she was an actress, right? She was a bartender actress. a part for a commercial or play or something, and they were looking for somebody who looked good and spoke well and fairly educated, but not too educated, to and maybe like-minded to run for Senate. But that's what the DSA, the communists, socialists, they're all in the same. You call them what you want. You can call them, fairies, whatever. They're all from the same mold. They want the same end goal. They want to tear down the United States. The government. I mean, go on the DSA website and look at their goals. Um, they actually want. They don't want a Supreme Court. They don't want police. They want to tear the whole United States government system down, burn it down to nothing, and then build back what they want. So they have this utopian society that everybody gets everything, and capitalist bad, but yet the people who are out there speaking, capitalist bad, are the millionaires, the Black Lives Matter people. What did they
Yeah.
do? The leaders of Black Lives Matter. They went out and bought several multi-million-dollar homes. Well, I bought them for my family. Well, guess what, jackass? That wasn't your money. You didn't earn it. And you remember? I'm starting to get heated up now. All right, buddy's on a roll. Obama, he said, you didn't make that. You didn't do this. You didn't do
Right.
that. Well, bullshit. I got up and took my ass to work. I got up and for me, I went overseas. I put my life on the line for what I thought, I believed in at the time. And, my family get up and they go to work. They earn a paycheck for their family to feed them and stuff. That's the American dream. Uh, to say I didn't earn that, I didn't build that. I have family that built New York City, the actual infrastructure there. Fuck yeah, they built it. Come on, you jackass. For a guy who's never had a job besides going to school and getting groomed, to be an organizer, community organizer. What the fuck is that, anyways? You know what I mean? You haven't had a job, so you haven't built shit. But I have. I've had a company. I've run companies. I've worked for people. I've served my country. Kiss my ass. I've done shit. You know what I mean? So
And
I'm gonna calm down.
I grew up in the New York, New Jersey area for the most of my younger life, up until I graduated high school. And I know New Yorkers. I grew up with these people. I know them. They're personal to me. And I don't understand how they voted this socialist into office. I don't understand how that happened.
My friends
really
that
don't.
are the native New Yorkers, the people who've second, third, fourth, sixth generation, maybe even more, they didn't vote for him because they've seen it. They just had what was the other guy, De Blasio. He brought, he banned 32-ounce big gulps, any cup over like 16 ounces of soda you can't have. You can go in and buy a liter of soda because you don't deserve that. I know more than you. You don't need to have they don't even have Dr. Pepper up there, but I was about to say a 2-liter bottle of Dr. Pepper, but they don't have it. um it but I digress there.
It's a measure of control is really what it is. It's saying I can do this to you, and there's
Yeah,
nothing you can do about it.
it's 100% about control, and that's what the DSA is all about. They
Oh
think
yeah.
now,
When you say
okay, so
DSA, you mean the Democratic Socialist
of America,
of
yes.
America. Yes. Okay. So
Your
not
fifth.
and I like to point out, I do, because I know a lot of Democrats, and I'm telling you, that's not how the traditional patriotic American Democrat thinks. This is a whole nother thing going on here.
They hijacked, and I'm really scared for the Democratic Party, and I'm waiting for somebody to reach down and grab their balls,
Me too.
male or female, to stand up to these clowns. But the thing is, the larger cities have already, remember the squad? There was just 5 of them.
Yeah.
Then they
Mhm.
became 10, and now there's several. I don't know. I've lost track actually of these socialists that are out there, running, and now they're all in Senate, and they're blocking the shit out of everything. Now they're taking over. They're hijacking the Democratic Party. You know,
That's exactly what happened. They hijacked the Democratic Party. And we are a two-party system. Always have been, always will be, and we have, well, hopefully always will be. But we have to have that two-party system. It's important to have that. But the thing is, in order for to keep the Republicans in check, you have to have a strong democratic, responsible thinking party. You can't have this radicalized weirdos. All that does is fire up the opposing side, and then it becomes a fight, a scrap, where blood is shed, instead of just an argument across a table.
Well, and I'm going to tell on myself a little bit here. So, little story. I'll go down story rabbit trail here. So, as a kid, into high school and into the first part of college, I actually thought communism was a good thing. Was a registered Republican.
Young people love it, man.
Yeah, because I didn't understand how the world worked. It wasn't until I got my first paycheck. Actually, it wasn't my first paycheck. That kind of stuck me. I was like, "Wow, taxes! What the hell? I made this much, and I only took home this much." And then my dad explained it to me, and I was like, "Okay, kind of communism, right?" And so when I paid my first, I think it was third or fourth year of taxes, I'm going to college. I'm working over 50 hours a week, paying for it myself, what the GI Bill didn't pay at the time, because it didn't pay very much at all. And I go to pay taxes and I owed. And I'm like, how the hell can a student that's working 50 hours a week have to pay? I don't understand this. And it's our tax system. So, I think people, and I was like, oh man, there should be more freebies and stuff out there. But now, as I'm older, with my friends, I have a joke that, there's no, 50-year-old communist that's ever had a job or a business. You know what I mean? Because it just doesn't work like that.
Nothing is ever free, man.
But it's the indoctrination. And Yuri Bezmenov, I think's his name, came out in I don't know what it was, but he had a video, and it's from like the 70s or 80s. He was a KGB agent and he said that, how American cannot be, we all know that nobody's going to invade us. They might nuke us and then come in and pick up the pieces, but nobody's going to come to the shores and fight us. It's just not going to, we could take on the whole world, I think, just in, with the rednecks. We
not a problem whatsoever. Not a problem whatsoever. Our problem is disease from within.
They have to take it from within. And so he said that the first, he spelled it out how they're going to do it. And if you take his, what he said in this video, and I'll try to find this thing and we can post it up on the Facebook
I wouldn't mind
page.
some excerpts of it to put into the podcast. So
it could be a total new podcast that we're doing, just what we're doing now, talking about it. But he spelled it out how they're going to do it. And if you look at it, and history is great as is a great litmus test for what's going on, and it tells all the tales. It's happening. It's kind of like the Rules for Radicals by Solinsky, that the Obama's his mentor was big on, and Obama he was a communist. He was a community organizer. What is happening now, the Muslim communist takeover is happening now. It's to me, I don't see how it's going to work in the end. But it's kind of like the Russian Revolution, if you want to get into Russian history. In a nutshell, the party that took over, the Soviets, the socialists, took over, the communists basically, the red side and not the white side. They let the other two battle it out, and then when they basically broke each other down and couldn't fight and defend themselves, then they jumped on top of them and pounced. And took over.
Right.
So, but what's happening here, and in this, what I was getting at with the Solinsky stuff, it's a checklist. If you look at Rules for Radicals, Google it, go look at it, and then look from the Obama administration on through Biden, what has happened to our country and what they said they were going to do or what they needed to accomplish in order to take over the United States. Well, it's still in play right now. The enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing is what's going on with this. The I guess the Muslim
Oh
communists,
yeah.
because there's no, you go in the Muslim world, there's no communism there. Now, in the countries that are fighting each other and
Wait,
having civil wars and stuff,
yeah, but in the Muslim world there is no socialism.
no, because that doesn't fit Muhammad and Islam's the rules there. It just does not work.
So how is that going to work in the United States?
Well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing.
Yeah. Well,
and what's the most telling thing, and I laugh about it, is like the queers for Palestine. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what happens in Palestine if you're queer? If
They
you're
kill-
gay,
they
if
behead
you're
you.
cross-dressers, they throw you off the top of a building, they behead you. How
Burn
the
you.
fuck does that work, man? Give me a break, dude. How does it work, though? But, at one point in my life, I'm going to digress here, going down that rabbit trail. I thought it was a neat thing. I followed it my whole life. I was an undergraduate Russian language and culture guy, and I still have a kind of a soft spot in my heart for that, for Russia and the things that happen over there in Russia. Just because they have a neat history and it's very dark and bleak and black, but I don't know, for some reason it appeals to me. I don't like the socialist thing, that was not good, but if you look at what's going on with the DSA party and PSL, there's a lot of different names. They have offshoots. The 5501 movement, the No Kings movement. You hear all these things on TV and stuff. They all have the same goal. It's just the same bullshit wrapped in a different wrapper. And I have gone out and dedicated about 3 years of my life to follow this and look at them build this whole thing that they've got going on. And it's that right now we're sitting at the top of a hill, a mountain that has snow on it, and there's a huge snowball at the very top, and it's getting rolled off. That's where we're at with this thing. If somebody doesn't stamp this thing out now, and it's gonna snowball into something. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong.
Through Congress, it's going to start with the dismantling of the Constitution. That's what's going to, because right now the Constitution is what we live by. It is America. It is what it is. And when they get that vote to be able to dismantle it and change it, twist it, get rid of it, write a whole new one, or just cancel it out completely, not even have one, that's when the U.S. stops being the U.S. That's when everything changes. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's not going to fly with half or way more than half of the citizens of the United States. And the only outcome to that is civil war. And I know people are listening going, nah, it's never going to happen. It could never happen. Look at all the great things we got. Never going to happen. Oh, it's going to happen. I can have.
Bet your ass it is.
I can take a Democratic president, even a halfway shitty one, but a decent Democratic president, I can handle. I know it's 2 years. I mean, I know it's 4 years, possibly 8 if they're good or if they got power. Okay, but I can handle that. What I can't and will never handle is a socialist United States. It's never going to happen. They can try to come take my shit. It ain't going to happen. I will die. That's the hill I die on. Period. End of discussion. There's no coming back from it.
A lot of the violence we're seeing now, the Stop ICE stuff, a lot, that's all driven by, DSA. You hear Antifa. Well, where's Antifa getting their stuff? Who's joining?
Yeah,
Antifa?
they're getting paid. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are, but there's a lot of the ideologues out there. Look at the guy that threw the firebomb, the Army veteran, threw the firebomb at 26 Plaza, I think it was, in New York, Federal Building, right? And actually injured a somebody that was trying to, a migrant, as they want to call
Yeah,
him.
was he anti-ICE or what was I saw the video. I just didn't know what he was about.
He was anti-ICE. He had a lot of anti-ICE slogans. He had a wagon he pulled up there full, he had an air rifle. He shot at people. Dumb shit. Um,
If
you
ICE
getting
if the government created a department like ICE, okay, and they were they were going out and doing bad things to people, okay, that were not constitutional, I would have a problem with it. The problem is they are following the law, and the law says that if you are in the United States illegally, you are an illegal immigrant or alien, and you need to be taken out. Period. That's the law. You have to follow that. If there wasn't a law, I would be pissed. I'd be mad that they were rounding up people, but I'm not. They're following the law. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing what I voted for them to do.
well, and DSA is, and I use DSA as they're the driving force and one of the main organized units that run most of the things. Okay, and in different areas they have other groups, but it's all the same. Okay, well, let's just call them DSA. When I say DSA, I'm referring to the far left socialist. Okay, because it's all candy.
I
It's
call
just
them
gotta,
radicalized, but it's the same thing. Yeah,
it's
I call
all
them far left
candy.
radicalized.
It's all like sugar candy. It's just in different wrappers, right? So
Right. Yeah.
here are some of the things that they want to achieve. Okay, and this is coming from their 2025, 26.
Where'd you get it?
It's on. I'm going to share it. I'll share it on the Facebook
Okay.
page.
So this is an actual document or something?
But given some background on this document, before Trump, it looked like Trump was going to get and the Republicans were going to come back to office. They war gamed out. They had a planning committee of what's going to happen the day after Donald Trump is reelected. And so from even before he got elected, the day after the election, they went into high gear. They started their planning, which a lot of us already planned out because they said, okay, if this happens, this happens. Because they're organized. Unlike the right, where we're knee jerk, we react to things. We're not proactive. We're reactive. They plan this out, and if you look at their plan, it's coming to fruition. It's an inside out, I guess, plan. So they want to go from the inside. They want to get people elected, and if they can't get people elected, they're going to use violence. They're going to go for the inner cities first, where they have like-minded people who love to get the freebies. I think if they would concentrate on trailer parks more, they would, be able to get more people that, they're like-minded, but they're concentrating in the bigger cities because that's where a lot of their organizing is. The community organizers like Obama was in Chicago. Okay, so they already have infrastructure set up there. So now they're in these bigger cities electing people into office, and to the city council, judges, police chiefs, your state senators, state representatives, federal senators, federal representatives. You're getting all these elected officials to come in. The AOC is the five, the squad or whatever, and they're coming in. They're doing these things. Well, they all have the same agenda. They've got end goals in mind, but it was all part of the plan. As soon as Trump got in there, they were going to fight him tooth and nail. But this time, they were going to do it differently because they knew Trump is a smart man. And he learned lessons from the last time that he wasn't going to let happen. That whole deep state thing, they're still there, but he wasn't going to let them take over this time.
No, he had the power the second time around.
And he did. He's still cleaning house. But let me talk about a few.
I don't think he's got enough time to actually clean enough house.
He's not going to be able to do shit from this point on. I think if he's going to get a few things done. And now they're more worried about, and you can see it in the news, at least I see it, that they're more worried about the reelection thing now. It's to that point where it's reelection season, so they're trying to win election stuff. So, expect the Iranian thing to wind down, not because we won the war. We never did what it took to win it, but just for votes. It's terrible how political stuff works, but they're winding stuff down. They're, everybody's working to get somebody elected or keep somebody from getting elected. And how is a country ran like that? You know what I mean? It shouldn't be elected. The country should not be run on politics. It should be run on what is best for the citizen. And I think that's where everybody's getting fed up. And
I agree with that. Yeah.
and so here's some of the goals they wanted. They decided, when Trump got elected, some of the things. They want Medicare for all. Have you heard that one before? They want everybody to get Medicare. They want everybody to be on what I call the military TRICARE system, Medicare for all. It sucks. I mean, it really does. If you want to know what it's like, why do so many people go to Canada? Why do so many people from Canada come to the United States and pay out of pocket for medical care? Because the
Most
doctors,
other countries have
they
really
they
bad
they
healthcare.
come here.
Most.
Yeah, because all the good doctors and all their brightest come here to work because they get paid. It's a capitalist system, but they want everybody on the same thing. They want everybody to make the same amount of money. Your janitor is going to make as much as a doctor, and everything's going to be free. But they just don't know it doesn't work. But I digress. So Medicare for all. The end of war on drugs. They want everybody to be able to just go out on any corner and buy drugs from anybody that wants. Well, your drug dealer, you think he's a capitalist? Let me think about that. Fuck
Wait,
yeah,
start back over. What's your second one?
End the war on drugs.
End the war on drugs. How are they going to do that?
Well, when I hear the end of war on drugs, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to go down to South America and the poppy fields of Afghanistan and all the places where they're importing drugs, fentanyl trade and stuff, and stop that. No, they want you to be able to walk out your front door and find your drug dealer and buy all the pot you want to buy or whatever you want, because that's the American dream, just to lay around on the dole and get shit for free and be high as fuck all day long. Man, I'm getting passionate.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
I'm getting passionate.
So they want us. You're saying that your thought process there on that second one is that they want us to be self-medicated.
Yeah. Okay. So end the war on drugs. Treat drug addiction as a health issue, not a criminal one. That's what they advertise. They're saying, well, if I want to go get high because I have anxiety, because Donald Trump, I have Trump dream syndrome, I should be able to do it. And so, or I have gender dysphoria, I should be able to go get high. And you shouldn't be able to stop me, because that's fascism.
You should be able to go do whatever you want, but if it's illegal, you should get arrested for it.
Treat drug addiction as a health issue, not a criminal one. So if you're addicted to drugs and you're on the streets and stuff, you shouldn't be locked up for it.
So who's to determine whether that one individual is going to get taken off the streets? And
social workers will do this. You will replace policemen with social workers.
Okay, paint me a picture. What exactly is a social worker?
A social worker and like a counselor is kind of the same thing. So you go to somebody, you got some problems, you want to talk to them, you usually go to a counselor.
Are they trained in hand-to-hand combat?
No.
Are they trained in being able to subdue somebody who's having a mental breakdown?
By definition, they're problem solvers.
They're going to become victims of the street. Yeah,
you're going to get some kid that's whacked out on whatever, is going to beat the shit out of him, and they've already seen it in these larger cities who are defunding the police, and they're putting these social workers out there. There was one killed not too long ago. I wish I could remember what city.
It's just ludicrous, is what it is.
But that's what they want, because that's part of what they want. Okay, it makes no sense, and goes back to that monologue. We live in a bizarre world that's upside down. So let's go to the next one. Fight mass incarceration and police brutality. Okay, abolish mandatory minimums and cash bail. And demilitarize police departments. So basically, don't spend any money on policemen. Abolish mandatory minimums and cash bail.
I'm confused about this. I'm actually confused about a lot of these, but so far I'm confused about this. So you're saying that are you saying that they want to take away the police, or they want to take away the laws that these people are breaking. In other words, decriminalize certain acts.
So I'm glad you asked that question. So they want to keep the laws on the books, but they don't want to enforce them. They don't want to have the enforcers there. But if they want to enforce them later on to somebody who's not like-minded, oh, there's a law there, and we're a country of laws, and here you go.
Oh, I see.
They will pick and choose who, gets
right.
the rule of law on them. So you see how that works?
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
All right.
I don't think the police would go along with this. I think policemen will just quit their jobs and do other things.
Yeah, and then they want that. They actually want that. They don't, and when somebody quits, they don't replace them. They just quit, and they take that money, and they take what the money that they would put into a police force, that keeps everybody safe and keeps crime down and does all the things to protect and serve. And then they'll put that into social programs. Remember that Medicaid for all thing? Oh, we'll just put that money over and get everybody free health care. Okay. So you almost have to think like them. And I think that's how come I understand a lot of this shit, because I used to think like this a little bit. And I realize now that it just doesn't work. Okay, so let's go to the next one. College for all. Make all public higher education tuition free with no out-of-pocket cost for room and board, and cancel all student loan debt. Okay. So where are they indoctrinating all of the young people? How come all the young people think like
before
this?
you get to the reasoning why they would want this, which is what you're doing right now, start with who's going to pay for it.
Well, and that's funny you asked that. All the rich people out there, all the rich people who are going to get a rich person tax, they call it a wealth tax. The thing that they don't understand, these simple-minded people who think communism and socialism is a good thing, once all the rich people that they tax the shit out of leave the country, all the money's dried up, who's going to pay for it? So they're not paying taxes. They're not, so once that money dries up, it might be a great thing for 10 years. But when all of the multimillionaires, the people who pay all the taxes, make the rich pay their fair share. They're already paying a fair share. If you look dollar for dollar, they pay, a multimillionaire, billionaire pay in taxes more than what, a person working at Starbucks will ever make in a lifetime. In probably a month.
Here's the other thing: the amount of the comparison between millionaires. Actually, millionaires doesn't even matter anymore. Millionaires is nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk billionaires. I guess if you want to compare the two, billionaires to regular people, they are a fraction of the populace. Okay, so you're getting mad at a very small fraction of people for doing things that you don't even understand. You're saying that they don't pay taxes, but are you there? You don't know what they're doing.
Going back to what I was said a little earlier, I'm kind of glad New York elected Mamdani, because it's going to open people's eyes up. Maybe not New Yorkers who
Not
voted
fast
him in.
enough.
No, it's going to take time. But when they realize, 20 years from now, when New York is, and we've made this comment before, Escape from New York, you put a wall around it, like, Snake Plissken's and stuff. Go back
Right.
and, for younger listeners, go back and look for the movie Escape from New York, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. But once they make that a reality, then, it'll be too late for New York, but the whole world will see why this is a bad idea. And I want everybody to fact check me. If they don't believe me, fact check me, because I do that. I collect intelligence, and I follow things probably more than I should. And I do it for reasons. Let's just leave it at that. And I'm looking at what's going on in the world, and I'm following stuff like this, and go fact check. And that's why I keep saying, do your area study. I'd like to do a podcast on how to collect intelligence, open source intelligence. It's easy. I have it come to me every day, and I could, get you to where you're not in an echo chamber from Fox News or CNN or whatever you're doing. But um, you know, it's getting real, and if you know what you're looking for out there, and you start looking around. I mean, I actually yesterday I didn't listen to. I got up in the morning. I heard a couple podcasts I start my day out with, and I shut everything off. And I was like, I'm going to the black hole today. I'm not going to have any of this shit because it was just so negative. What's going on in the world? And I just can't believe what the hell's going on.
Yeah, I saw a video of Mondani, mayor of New York, talking about how he was going to make city-owned housing and
Yeah,
city-owned grocery stores.
that was my
And
next point that the DSA actually said. That was the next one. So
yeah, that exactly. And and you like to go down the rabbit holes and follow leads and all that kind of stuff, and that's great. I would like to do that too. It's a timing thing, but I like to hear right from the horse's mouth. And he said right from his own mouth, he said it's appropriations. How are you going to get the building? You take them. How are you going to get the apartments? You take them. How are you going to get the housing developments? You take them. How are you going to get the shopping centers, the grocery stores? You take them. The city appropriates them. They take them from the owners legally, by law. They take them.
Yeah, like I said, the next point was housing for all. He ran on housing for all, and
imagine being an owner of an apartment building. You built up this massive business, and you're just happy with it, and you're doing well, and everything's great, and the people in your house in your building are happy, and everybody's doing well. And then the city comes and says, we're taking it from you. Nothing you can do about it. Eminent domain. It's ours.
So this is what kills me. And it's the simple-minded people who hear housing for all. They take a pile of shit and they wrap it up in a nice wrapper and call it a gold bar. You know what I mean? That's what the socialists do, and that's what Mondani did. He wants everybody to ride on the subway free. He wants everybody free housing. He wants to get health care in the city of New York City for everybody. That's great. That sounds great, but how the fuck are you going to pay for it? Just like you said. So
it's got to come from somewhere. And Trump said, as long as he's in office, it ain't coming from him. He ain't going to give them money for it. No. He will not give federal funds to any socialist agenda whatsoever. He's not going to do it.
Yeah, and hopefully he can dig his heels in the ground, and that won't happen. But the housing for all thing. Now I'm going to, talk about when I lived in New York City. My two landlords when I lived there were both immigrants. One of them, he was Polish. He didn't speak any English. The other one, he was from South America, and they're immigrants. They came over the right way. They were living the American dream. They took the house that they end up paying for by hard work and sweat, living the American dream, turned it over to rental property, and they moved up like the Jeffersons. And if you get that, you get that. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So they moved up and they had these rental properties, but now Mondani, his base, he's going to start taking from. Wall Street's leaving New York City. Wall Street. They're going to Austin, Texas. And I think they've already – now they had some stuff down in Houston already and I think in Miami and stuff. But
Austin's a big money town.
All the people who have all the money and who are getting taxed to death and all the infrastructure. So that's why I want this to happen. I want them to see what kind of fools they are. I want them to learn from their mistakes and let the world see that this is a bad damn idea.
Well, so far since he's been the mayor, the socialist mayor, trying to change the New York City into a socialist New York City into a socialist city, so far he's created no city-owned grocery stores and no city-owned housing. He's not even given those promises yet. It's not happened.
Because he can't. He can't make. And he said, okay, it'll be free transportation in the city. Free subways, free buses and stuff. How the hell are you going to pay for that? Now, when I lived in New York City, I lived there through Bloomberg. Okay. He was a Democrat. He was a centrist, but he was a Democrat. he ran. He's also a businessman, very successful businessman, kind of like Trump. Um, he ran the city like it was a business.
I think Bloomberg was a good mayor. I mean, Democrat or
He
Republican,
was.
I could care less. I think he did a good job.
And he did the stop and frisk thing. It was a safe city. I
Hmm.
wasn't scared to travel on the subways, and I did travel on subways to work to my military job. A lot of times not in uniform because it was right after 9/11, and they told us not to. So that was that. But I mean, you can tell who everybody thought I was a cop, anyways, because of the haircut, and just the way I carry myself. But the, it all goes back to who's going to pay for it. And so I'm cheering this on. Okay, yeah. And every time he fails at something, he was going to arrest Netanyahu. Are you crazy? Are you really crazy? You don't have the authority to arrest a president of another country or whatever he is, a prime minister or whatever. You can't do that. You're a mayor, and you know what I mean. But the dummies elected him, so good for them. I hope they learn a lesson. Whatever.
Can you? I saw something the other day. It was just a short on something, one of the socials, and it was very funny, but very true. And it said, imagine that you are a child and you get an allowance from your parents for doing a great job at school or a great job at whatever you do, and you get this $10 a month, and it's awesome. You can't wait to get that $10 a month every single month. But then somebody comes in and says, "We're going to change the rules. We're going to take half of your $10. We're going to give the other half to your sibling who doesn't do anything, who's lazy, who doesn't do any work, who doesn't do good at school, is always in trouble, and they're going to get it for free." And where's it going to come from? It's going to come from your allowance. We're going to cut it in half. What are you saying to that child? What are you saying to that person? First of all, it's unfair, but what are you saying to them? I don't have to do a good job. I don't have to do anything. I can just be
Yeah.
lazy and I can get stuff.
And that's what happens in these communist countries like the Soviet Union. You don't have the go-getters anymore because I'm a go-getter. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get all my work done. And, what are you going to get from it? An attaboy, maybe? Oh, good job, comrade.
25 to 35% of your check is going to taxes right now. Under socialism, you can forget about it. You're looking at sexy 70, 80% of your money is going to be gone. And they're going to promise you free. Well, you don't have to make that much anymore. You get free medical. You get some free food, and you're going to get free or discounted living expenses. When you buy that $100,000 house, you don't need the $100,000 house. Here's a $25,000 house. It's great. You're going to love it. It's got the same amount of bedrooms in it.
Hey, with free public transportation, are you going to be able to drive a car?
Oh, that sounds like a wonderful place I'd like to live. There are people that live in apartments in New York City that spend as much as somebody pays for a house, okay? But they do it because they want to live in that building. They want to have those neighbors. They want to have the office vetting people who are coming in, not just letting anybody come in. They feel safe. They feel happy. They want to pay for that. They don't want the city to pay for it and then have anybody come off the streets. Oh, here you go. Have an apartment. There you go. You get to live here too. Everybody gets to live here now. They don't want that. They're willing to pay for better stuff.
We're going back to what you said earlier, control. It's all about control.
Yes.
You're going to do what I say and how I say to do it and stuff. And man, there's more to talk about what they wanted. And if you listen to Mondani and some of these other leaders in these, communist cities, stuff like 32-hour work week, workers' rights, union, tax the rich. You hear that slogan all the time. We're going to tax the rich. We're going to raise taxes on the richest earners. Green New Deal.
32-hour work week for what?
Because that helps the workers out. They can go back to their family that they want to destroy because they hate nuclear families. They're trying to tear down the nuclear family because they want people like teachers that are trained out of the colleges raise your kids. They want certain people. Remember when Hillary Clinton says it takes a village to raise your family? That's how I knew, oh, she's a communist. She has been indoctrinated. But they think that it's better for a community, a communism, to raise your kids because the community, the communism knows better than what a parent does. In some instances, I agree with them. They still want a Green New Deal. They're still buying into that. These people run around with their mask on. Still,
It's so
they're
funny,
still
man.
living in 2019 and shit with their mask on and whatever. They got the Free Palestine thing going on. In the U.S. war machine, bring home all the troops. Yeah, I can get behind that. Let's focus on our hemisphere. Um, no more economic welfare. In economic sanctions that impact the sovereignty of countries. So basically, when you talk about no economic warfare, we're not going to put sanctions on Canada or Cuba or Venezuela.
A couple things. Number one, again, where's the money going to come from? Okay, two, you're going to have people working at less money to pay for products to give to other countries at cheaper prices. You're going to get cheaper products. Competitive wages, competitive salaries, competitive employment creates competitive people. They want to do better. They have to do better to stay there. They have to do better at building a product or a service or whatever it is they're doing. That competitiveness makes great stuff. That's why American stuff is more expensive than Chinese stuff.
You just described capitalism.
You can have a company that builds a very expensive, let's say a cell phone case. Okay, a very expensive cell phone case, which is what I have. I have an OtterBox, and my phones never break with an OtterBox. I have to pay $80 to $100 for that to buy that OtterBox, but my phone doesn't break, and I choose to get that $100 OtterBox because I am brutal with my phone all day.
Yeah.
I don't want to go buy a $20 one. Now, here's the thing. There are $20 ones out there. Nobody's saying you don't have to have $20 ones. You don't have to make cheaper ones. You don't only have to make great ones. There are also cheaper ones you can get. I'm not saying you have to buy rich stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I buy American as much as I can.
I try to buy something that's going to last, and there's competition in the capitalist system to make the best product for the best price in order to sell it.
Depends on what it is I'm buying. If I'm buying something that can just get away with stuff, I'll buy it off of Amazon. I don't care where it comes from. But when I go buy an American flag, I'm going to buy an American flag from a company that makes the flags in America. I'm not going to buy an American flag from China. That's why. What? No.
Yeah. And so we're going back to, that whole thing of incentive, incentive to make the best product and have pride in country. But you can't do that now with this DSA thing. You can't be a nationalist. You can't have pride in your country because Orange Man bad, flag bad, American flag bad, USA bad. We're going to burn it down. We're going to develop it the way we want it to be because we know better than you, because we're communists.
Is it really bad though? Because I can go to Walmart and I can get my jalapenos, okay, and they're going to be GMO'd and all the other stuff and blah blah blah. But I'm not going to be able to get red jalapenos. We know why? Because it takes longer to grow red jalapenos. That's why you can't find them in Walmart. They're more expensive. So I go down to the local farmers market deal where they got this giant stand and they don't have red jalapenos. And I asked them, "You have any red jalapenos?" And they say no. But, and here's where American pride comes into play. But if you want, we can put an order in for you. Tell me how many you want. We'll let them grow to red, and then we'll let you know the date to come pick them up. That's American pride.
Yeah, and that's the way it should. You should have, what you just discussed was choices. You do not have choices in the communist.
No, you don't.
Socialist system.
That's why there's bread lines. That's
why you're eating borscht and potatoes and bread, and you're drinking vodka because you're fucking miserable and you just want to you want to totally have an escape. Hence I should be able to buy pot from the guy on the corner anytime I want. You know what I mean? And by the way, you need to furnish that, and it should all be free. And I got a few more of these.
Yeah, go through them. I'll stop interrupting you. Go ahead.
Universal suffrage. So they want to eliminate that. And what they say with universal suffrage, extend full voting rights to people with criminal convictions and non-citizens and establish statehood for the Washington, D.C. And I can add to Washington, D.C., they want to do Guam, they want to do Puerto Rico, they want to gobble up a couple other territories out there so they can make sure, more brown territories, by the way, what they call the brown people, because for votes, they think that they can get the brown vote, that they'll be in power forever. This is what they're saying they're going to do as soon as they get in office. Okay. A representative Congress replaced the 2/3 party system with a multi-party democracy through proportional representations in elections. Expand the number of seats in the House of Representatives and end the Senate filibuster. Okay, why do they want to end the Senate filibuster? Control. They want all this control. Okay, and I'm just saying what they're saying they're going to do. Popular vote for the president. They don't want an electoral college thing anymore. They want the popular vote. Why do they want the popular vote? Because Democrats traditionally win the larger city areas, the populated areas.
They can stack the votes. If they need another 10,000 in, let's say, Chicago or Illinois, let's call it that, they just get them from another country.
Or cities like Fulton County, Atlanta, that county down there that's been caught with the suitcase full of votes that were, people that were dead, and people, just they pulled them out of the sky at fucking 3:00 in the morning. They want the presidential vote to be popular because they've lost that with Trump. It all goes back to TDS. Okay, reduce the power of the Supreme Court. Limit the court's power of judicial review, in which it uses to effectively create. I need to get my glasses on. Create and abolish laws outside the legislative process. So they don't want a Supreme Court. They want local courts. They want to rewrite our Constitution.
Well, make no mistake about it. The people at the top of the socialist game, the people that are at the top of the pecking order, right? They will not be living a socialist life.
No.
Only the people under them will be.
So I don't know how we got down this rabbit hole, but kind of glad
we did. We're not usually an overly political show, although we have been accused of it from time to time, and I don't have a problem with it. I don't. It's my show, so I'm gonna say what I want. It's your show. I'm gonna say what I want to say. I'm gonna be who I am. That's it. If you don't like it, you go someplace else and listen. That's how I look. That's how I feel about it. Unless you're paying my salary, I could care less. But the thing is, it's one thing. Are you done with your list?
Yeah, that's all I got. I mean, I could go on for hours because this,
and we're going to do this more and more because it's going to happen more and more. And this is definitely right within the prepper survivalist wheelhouse. If you're not preparing for this, look, that's what I want to say in closing is, those of you who think that what we're saying is bullshit, and I know we're not saying it eloquently. There's other people out there that can spew all kinds of technical data right off of their brain. I can't. I stutter when I start doing that. I get it. But here's the thing. Those of you who think that what we're saying is not going to happen, it's never going to happen, it could never happen because of the life you're living right now and the happiness that you're feeling, I'm telling you, it can happen. It has already started to happen. It's already happening right now as we speak. This is not going to be a click the button and everything changes. This is going to be a little tiny changes, little tiny things happening here and here. This person getting into office, that person getting into office, these people getting rich over here, these people joining the club. We got a place for you in the system, and there's nothing to sign. That's how it's going to work. Yeah. It is going to happen if you let it happen.
Yeah, it's going to play out whether we want to or not. I mean, the motion, the wheels are in motion now. Are we going to stop that?
We're not trying to rabble rise. We're not trying to start any kind of a movement or fear monger or anything like that. We're trying to let you know that this is taking place, and we have to contain it. If we can't contain it, it's going to be like wildfire. It's going to get out of control.
This is organized. This is what they've been doing. The people who are organizing this, they're using their brains and they're making it happen. And we're sitting back, grabbing our hands and wringing our hands, going, "Oh no, look at this, look at this." All I'm trying to do is wake people up.
If we were trying to sell you something, if you had to pay for this show, if you had to pay for something to hear what we're saying, I would say don't listen to me. But we're not making any money on this.
No, it's This is a public service announcement, man. You know,
Absolutely.
and what can you do? You know, and I'll be quick with this one because
Yeah,
we're
go
way over
ahead.
an hour. What can you do uh, to do your little part? You can either sit back and wring your hands and go, "Oh, poor me," or you can actually organize yourself, get into the local elections. You know, uh, whether whatever party you're in now, it's a uniparty, anyways, in my mind. But go out and go to the meetings in your local county or your local city. Volunteer in elections. Organizations out there, you know, maybe, you know, if you believe in a candidate that's out there that's strong, like I got, you know, everybody should know by now that one of my friends is a politician, and I have another one who's about to, and I hope he wins, is about to win another local election and be in there with my other friend. And so, you know, I'm helping them out as much as I can to get in there because they're like-minded. They don't, you know, they're right in there with me. They want to see their kids thrive.
They
They like
love
a
America.
capital. They are the most patriotic damn people in the world, and so I love this country. I fought for it, you know, damn near died for it, and for what I believe in. And you know, I'm not going to allow communists to take over. So what can I do now without being violent? You know, I'm definitely training for violence if I need to be, and I'll be the most dangerous motherfucker out there. I'll just let you know that. But in the meantime, I'm training for that. But I'm doing things the soft power,
Self-sufficiency.
self sufficiency. I'm setting the stage. I'm not. Oh, Trump is in office. I have not taken my foot off the gas, and I've gotten not comfortable. I've actually put my foot on the gas, and I'm getting more training. I've found my weaknesses um, that I have as far as I've done a self assessment and my preparedness lifestyle, and I'm filling in the weaknesses now. I'm training.
Talk to people, join a mag.
I'm in groups. I'm and a lot of this what I'm doing. I don't have to do this, like you said. We don't have to do this. We're not getting paid. We're doing a public service for people out there that are like minded to help. Hopefully, you know, continue this on forever. And I hope in 5 years we get bored because nothing's going on and we're not needed. But you know, I don't see it like that right now.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, honestly, that would be great to not have to get people into being, you know, self-sufficient and self-reliant and you know, capable. That'd be great. I would love
And
that because then I can have a podcast on like UFOs or Bigfoot or something really cool like that.
yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want a Bigfoot?
Fun.
You know what I mean? There's something fun about UFOs and Bigfoot, or just, you know, going back to the tinfoil hat stuff. But you know, and I will say this, and I'll shut up because I feel like I've been talking all day. Um, if you have something out there, or you like some of our content, or you have an idea, or you want to come on the show, uh, instant message me on the Facebook message, or speak pipe, or somehow find it, you know, find me. Facebook works, a messenger there, speak pipe will work. We will try to accommodate all your ideas and all your show stuff.
If you have an opposing view, we would love for you to come on the show. Explain to us how we're wrong, please. That would be great.
I had a lady that was going to come on, but she goes, I don't think so. She at first was like, I can't do it because you guys don't align with me politically. And she's a younger lady that lives in a college town, college education, her and her husband, and they've been indoctrinated, damn it. But she has opposing views. And so I invited her on. Hey, you know, she goes, I just don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can. She actually used trust myself on there. And I'm like, okay, well, you're invited anytime you want to come on. All you got to, and she actually listens. So if you're out there still, you know who you are. You know, come on. She listens. They're into preparedness.
I know all kinds of people. I don't judge for that. And that's not even what I'm talking about. I love a good, strong Democratic Party. We need that to keep my people in check.
Competition is good. It makes both parties better.
Yeah, I'm talking about preserving the core values of what it is to be American. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not allowing it to become Muslim. And by that, I mean I'm not talking about not having Muslims here. Freedom of religion. You want to be a Muslim? Be a Muslim. That's great. What I'm saying is you don't get to change the laws from American laws to Muslim laws, Sharia law. You don't get to do that.
come to our country, please. Come make it better. Do it the right way, like my grandparents did, or my great 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 grandparents did. My people came over here the right way, and they did the things, and they contributed to the United States and made it to what it is now. By all means, please come over here if you're a doctor or whatever, but do it the right way, and don't try to change this system because you came here for a fucking reason. Why did you come to America? To tear it down? You came here to get all the freebie shit. Well, most people. I can't say everybody, but most people come over here to suck off the American tit. And man, I'm getting passionate again. So
They got great programs for immigrants. They do.
Come over here and make it better. Enjoy your stay here. Enjoy the lifestyle that we have. Live the American dream, please. But just do it the right way.
And we're not going to let you change it.
No, you're not going to change it.
My prepper brothers and sisters, if you have an idea for a show topic or would like to be on the show as our guest, email shtf@topsbunker.com, website topsbunker.com, YouTube Tops Bunker Podcast channel, and SpeakPipe, speakpipe.com/tops. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and remember, stay prepped, stay happy. Thanks for listening, and good night.